going on, guys? How's it going? A little dark out today. That's okay. It gets really dark fast in the winter. Well, it's approaching the winter time, so things are going to change drastically at a very rapid level, too. You go outside, even a month ago, it was so nice out. I was doing that weed whacking stuff, right? The landscaping. Beautiful, man. I was burning. Like, my neck burnt and my arms got burnt and stuff. And then you give it 1 month later, shit's totally different, guys. Like, it's brisk outside. I have to wear sweaters all the time. It's getting cold. And you know what? A month from now, there's going to be that white shit on the ground. It sucks, you guys. Ugh. But that's Canada for you. You gotta love it or hate it. I feel like I kind of like both because snowboarding's fun and skiing, going to the log cabins, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, today's video is going to be about Diablo series. The Diablo series, right. So, I grew up playing Diablo. The first time I ever played Diablo 1, I was at a school with my dad, and he was like the teacher there. Like, he was, I think, the dean of it or something like that. He had computer access to like all these PCs, and I was just such a young kid at the time. Blizzard just started making these games, or I think Diablo 1 must have been out for a little while before this, but he's like, okay, you want to play a game? I'm like, yeah, sure. Because I already played StarCraft and stuff as a kid, and he's like, okay, well, there's a scary one. I'm like, okay, I can handle a scary one, right? No big deal. And so he puts on Diablo 1 for the very first time, and that music is booting up, and it's fucking like, you know, the Tristram shit, right? It's good. That classic, you know, vibe to it. So I'm playing the game. I picked the warrior class, and I'm going around just killing the skeletons and stuff, because you go in through the church and you go down after talking to some of the people in the town, right? Like, you'll talk to them, they'll be like, oh, there's some shit going on in the chapel, right? And then you go down there and you start slaying demons and stuff. That game had some of the most horrifying, like, death sounds, and like the way you kill the monster, it's like they just screech in such a way where no other game really captures such a terrifying presence. Like, you'll kill those little fallen guys. I know they're a part of Diablo 2 as well, but the fallen, they just make that nasty sound that, like, they just die and then there's like blood everywhere. It was so cool, you guys. I loved that game. I remember getting to a certain point where it was like the underground, kind of that like lava place. And you had those like guys that spit the acid balls at you, and I would just keep dying over and over and over again. Finally, my dad was like, you know, we're gonna play 2-player and stuff. We ended up beating that game. But Diablo 2 is really where things took off. Diablo 2 expanded upon every detail in the game, plus more. And they added such quality to life changes, like the cube. Like, you could start making recipes with the cube. You had a giant stash. The money you gained had a purpose. Like, you could gamble with it eventually. As a kid and as newer players of the game, you don't really realize this aspect for a little while, but after you become very good at the game, you go, hey, this gold has got some serious value to it, and I'm gonna start gambling. And yeah, I'll talk about that a little bit more in depth later on, but there is an art to gambling in the game. Anyway, back to Diablo 2, back to my childhood here. So my dad would have a couple of his buddies, and it was like 6 of his friends plus me, so it was like a freaking team of like 7. He had that whole entire school's computer lab, so we all downloaded Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction on those PCs, and we would play LAN, and it was the best fucking thing I've ever experienced. If I could go back in time and do that again, I totally would, because the amount of enjoyment that was. I played a barbarian, like, I just played whatever. They're like, do whatever you want. I'm like, okay, cool. So I picked the barbarian, and I was literally wielding 2-handed swords in each hand, and that's the way I wanted to play. And no one told me I couldn't do that, and it was such a fun time. And when you play on Players 8, Players 7, all the enemies are actually a lot stronger. So it's like it's taking into account how many players are in the game, and then it makes it tougher for you and your group, which was great. I just remember one key thing. We ran out of potions, the healing potions, in the shop, so we couldn't buy anymore. We kept going back and back to town over and over again. Like, people died and died and died. We ran Akira out of potions. Like, we literally bought them out, and she had no more for us. So I just remember seeing that. They're like, where's the potions, you guys? What the fuck is going on? Oh, shit. We must have bought them all, right? And it's like, oh my goodness. That's crazy. The amount of freaking killing we did. And the amount of times we died. Because we're just noobs, right? Like, all of us were just noobs. Pretty sure my dad played like a sorceress, right? He was casting his fireballs. That's the one class in the game. You can literally get away with absolutely having zero gear. Like, you can run around naked, like, literally, and still just win the game for the most part. Like, normal mode, right? Nightmare maybe a little bit with the frost, but as soon as you get to like hell mode, things change. You know, you gotta be smart about it. You gotta have your resistance and shit. But yeah, for the most part, the game is pretty chill on normal. I'd say most people can get through the game in normal mode with little difficulty. It's not that hard. But Nightmare really shoots that up there, and you start feeling it. The creatures change color. I think that's one of the coolest things about the game, was that the creatures had really fucked up names. Like, I don't even remember. I'd have to like look it up, but like they really have like weird names, and it's all random generated names. So me and my buddy were playing one time, because I played in my 20s after that, and his name was Aaron as well, because that's my name. And we would literally like laugh whenever we seen one of these rare monsters spawn, because the names were just so ridiculous, like Sting of the Stink or something like that. Just like really stupid things, right? But it made it so enjoyable. Not only were these enemies way harder, they gave you more XP, but they were different color too. Like they literally had their entire pack be different color. And it helped like distinguishing them between like enemies, right? Like if you're fighting a whole bunch of enemies and you want to kill the biggest, toughest one, well, usually they're like a different color, and it makes it a lot easier for you to like fight them, which was awesome. The gear in the game was phenomenal as well. Like, Diablo 2 had some of the best gear. Just the itemizations mattered so much, but just the flow of the gear itself made it so enjoyable, because there was never a moment where you felt cheaped out, right? The enemies were just too good, you sucked, like, what do I do, right? No. The game was giving. It was, you know, it gave you good weapons and stuff. And I think a lot of people really did enjoy the fact that it was all random, you know, RNG based. You didn't know what you were gonna get. It was kind of that gambling mentality, right? Like, it was fun. You had fun playing the game. It was all just random stats and stuff, and I think a lot of people really enjoyed and gravitated towards that kind of gameplay. I know I did. One legendary is not going to be the same as the other one, and that's what makes it special. Like, you're going to be able to sell that item for way more because you got a perfect roll on it, or you got an item that was so sought after, like the Shaco, that these people are just going to just die for it. They just want that Shaco, and especially if it's perfect. Like, there's a few items I think that are just always perfect. I can't remember what it is, but some items, they just come like set in stone. But for the most part, a lot of items are just completely randomized, and that's what makes the game so damn fun. Once you get to hell mode, you start unlocking some of the best items in the game. And I'm not even mentioning rune wards yet. Like, rune wards is its own thing. That's what made Diablo a really, really cool game, and it made it stand out from other titles, was the rune ward system. You would get these awesome rune wards that you could put them together, basically. You put in an order, like you would get these gray items, like with sockets, like there would be holes in it, right? And then you would place the runes, like Ith, Zod, all sorts of different ones, into the item in a certain order, And you had to make sure you had the right item too. Like if you had a sword and you put this rune ward in, right? And usually it works. But no, it didn't work for the sword because you needed an axe. Just stuff like that, right? Hold on, guys. I'm just driving here and it's dark. I'm gonna make this turn here. Okay. So anyway, yeah, you would just get like rune wards. But if you did get it to work, it was all randomized as well, right? It just, the whole game's about randomness. And that is the best thing about it. Nothing even comes close to having such a good system that's randomized. It makes things valuable. You find a rare ring, well, you just hit the jackpot. Or you find an insane amulet with every single detail you have been looking for. That item may be worth a shit ton. Even dollars, you guys. That's how insane the community of this game is. If they find something they want and they need it right now, and you're willing to sell it, they'll give you a good price for it. That's why people love D2. And that's why people were so happy when they said, guys, we're going to make remastered. And people were like, holy shit, I can't believe it. My dreams have come true. I know Mr. Lama did. He loved that game. I used to watch him a lot back in the day, and he used to just play the original. But then he got the chance to play, you know, what he's got now, and I'm sure he's just laughing because, man, what we had before was great, but like this is even better. Get what I'm saying? They did that too with StarCraft 2, or sorry, StarCraft Brood War. My bad. They did that with the remaster on that as well. And look at Artosis. He absolutely is in love now because his game has been restored to a state where even back then, like, I remember as a kid looking at StarCraft 1 Brood War, and it kind of looked the way it does now because of nostalgic, like the rose-tinted glasses. You're remembering something that might not have been what it was, but then making a remaster and making it look sharp and beautiful, all of a sudden, it's revitalized and like gave it meaning again. Like it makes you see the game as if you were a kid again. Like it's phenomenal the way they did this stuff. And I hope they keep doing stuff like that because games, like old games especially, they deserve treatment like that. Holy crap, this guy's like swerving. Jeez. Okay, I gotta be careful here. Anyway, Diablo 2 was so good. I think one of the classes that were the most broken ones. Like, okay, there's a couple problems with the game, right? Like, you would have your metas, of course. The developers just made a game set in stone kind of thing. Just go have fun, you guys. They didn't really tweak things after a certain point because they kind of just stopped developing, right? They stopped putting patches out. But we all know that the sorceress with the ice blizzard is powerful as fuck. Like, it's one of the strongest. There is the Hammerden. We all know it. We all love Hammerden. You know, with the teleporting Enigma, with the chess piece. That's a good one. But the cool thing about Diablo is there will always be new builds coming out. And people will always be coming out with new things, new items, new ways to play. It's just always evolving. And I think that's really what makes the game so special and stand out from, like, other titles. I don't know other titles that have even stood the test of time, kind of like this one did. It's very difficult to find one. And if you guys have any like comments down below, like any other titles you feel have stood the test of time, I know like Path of Exile is its own thing, and I will make a video about that, mind you. I will make an entire video about Path of Exile and what I feel about it. That video will come. So I don't want to hear Path of Exile down there. I already know about that. That game is special to me as well, in many ways. But I just want to hear more niche titles you guys feel have always stood the test of time and, you know, have a good system to it. It feels good to play even today. That's all I'm worried about. Because there's a lot of shit games out there, you guys. People can make some fucking hot garbage real quick. They can shit it out there. But it doesn't have a long life, you know, you get what I'm saying. It doesn't have a very long-lasting power. Shelf life, there it is. It's just microtransaction fucking bullshit that no one likes. No one wants microtransactions. Like, No one asked for it. It's just another way that they literally opened up Pandora's box with that. They opened it up and they went, I can't shut this. I can't stop making money from these people with these micro bullshits, you know? Like, once it's open, everyone knows about it. That's the problem with opening Pandora's box like that. It's really hard to close. But I mean, if we all work together, we probably could close it. It's gotta go, you guys. Like, it wrecks games. And that's why so many games, you'll go back and you'll be like, I don't want to play a fucking microtransaction game. There's so many reasons why. Like, I hate the game. It's so bad. Like, I'm paying with my credit card to be better. That's what Diablo Immortal was. Just trash, dude. Like, it's just a garbage game. Like, and they make it look so good too. Like, oh, okay, like the gameplay is fucking cool and like the items are look deadly. But like, fuck, bro, at what cost? Your kidney? Your arm and leg? Hell no, bro. I gotta buy a car. I gotta buy a house. I'm not buying gems. A fucking stupid gem that's gonna make me powerful, like for 10,000. That's crazy, dude. Whoever thought that was a good fucking idea? My goodness. But they made a killing, bro, and that's the problem. It's so sad to see. It's so sad to see such a stupid, fiendish, shark-infested waters of Blizzard that they've done this to us. They don't give a fuck, bro. That's why we treasure Diablo 2 so much. The Diablo series is not dead. It has so much more to offer. But it's just taken the wrong way. They've taken the wrong avenue with it. Constantly. You see the hype that people have when they announce a new Diablo game? Dude, it's unlike any other. It's so hype, bro. But every time they do this to us, every time they give us a shitty game, you lose more and more and more trust. You don't care anymore. You get to a point where you're like, I don't care anymore. What do you do? What do you do? Anyway, guys, this is my talk about Diablo 2 especially. I will talk about Diablo 3. I did have an experience with that game, and I will make a video about that soon enough. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Just comment down below, see what you think, and just, I want to hear your thoughts down there. Like and subscribe. You know, a lot of you watch the video, but a lot of them don't subscribe. Like, there's this thing, it's like, it just says like 99% don't subscribe, and it makes me sad, you guys. But it's okay. I make the content, and things will improve slowly. And thank you guys, whoever's out there, for all the support. All right, guys, take care.